So you have Spokane, Washington on your sites. You're coming in and you want to know, what is it truly like to live in Spokane? What are those pros, the cons, the good, the bad, the ugly? Well, we got Mike with me today, and we are going to be discussing really everything you want to know, an honest opinion of living in Spokane, Washington. If that's what you want, we're getting after it right now. What's up, everybody? My name is Jackson Wilkie.
And I'm Mike Bass.
That's right. We are the Living in North Idaho and Spokane team now with Mike. If this is your first time to this channel and you want to learn everything about what it's like to work, eat, sleep, live, play right there in Coeur d'Alene, Spokane, make sure you tap that subscribe button and you click that little bell so you're notified every time we do a new video. And we honestly get so many phone calls, emails, texts every single day from people moving and relocating here. We absolutely love it. So thinking about moving anywhere in that eastern Washington, northern Idaho area, make sure you give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. Days, nights, weekends, we got your back when moving here. All right, so the pros and cons of living in Spokane, Mike, let's give it to them. First of all, what'd you just read in the paper today about how fast Spokane's growing?
So one of the things I saw today, Jackson, was the 99206 zip code is ranked among the highest zip codes by Realtor.com for people moving into the area.
It's really no secret. We've been discovered. Spokane, unbeknownst to a lot of people, it's an old city. We'll talk about that, but neighboring, 20 minutes away, just a 15, 20 miles away from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. These are some of the hottest real estate markets in the entire country. That brings some benefits, and it also brings some cons. So we'll really jump into it. We've got a few just topics, and we're going to split it up and kind of weigh it out, play devil's advocate to some of it, and tell you the good and the bad of it. And the first thing you got to think about when you move anywhere in the Northwest is the weather. So we've got 4 seasons, but it can also get pretty dang cold in Spokane, right?
It can. Yes, it can.
So what happens is we get a lot of snow. It is, like we mentioned, right next to Coeur d'Alene. These areas can get 4 or 5 feet of snow. This stuff can stick around for a long time. But people love this. What do we have very close in ski resorts?
So we've got Schweitzer Mountain Resort, we've got Mount Spokane, we've got Silver Mountain, and a plethora of other areas.
Yeah, so we do have that. So if you are somebody who enjoys skiing, basically within 20 minutes, Mount Spokane's right there. You can get up and enjoy that skiing. But if you are somebody who's we get this all the time, right? If you're from North Idaho or you're from Eastern Washington and you've had this weather forever, sometimes it can get a little old, but people enjoy that now. They've had the warm weather forever. They want to see those 4 seasons. So maybe give them your opinion on some of those seasons, what you enjoy or what season comes to mind for you.
I hear it over and over again, Jackson. The 4 seasons are the reason a lot of people want to come here. We do get snow. There is winter here, but our fall and spring seasons are very, very appealing. There are a lot of sports that go hand in hand with those. Certainly summer, we've got our lakes and our boating and all that, but we've got, mountain biking and hiking and any number of outdoor activities that work in the fall and in the spring. And then our wintertime, snowshoeing, snowmobiling, snow skiing. I mean, there's a list that goes on and on.
Yeah, and just to be brutally honest, sometimes it can stay forever, the snow. So, it can stretch out through April, May, June. And then there's years where, like February, all of a sudden it's in the 40s, 50s, sunny, bluebird, and there's no snow. So you're going to have to kind of see what Mother Nature brings you. But just letting you know that we definitely have 4 seasons, and there can be quite a bit of snow. One of the cons we kind of want to talk about right away is just the age of the city. People don't realize that they see all this growth now, but Spokane was an absolute hub, 100 plus years ago with the train stations. So what does it really look like downtown? Is there a lot of industrial? Is there some areas that haven't cleaned up quite yet?
That's right, Jackson. In its infancy, Spokane was a big city for mining and timber barons to live here. And so they built this infrastructure, these large old buildings in the downtown area, and it can be gritty sometimes. There is a transition happening now in the downtown area to convert some of these to residential spaces, so that's kind of fun, and young people seem to attract to that. but we do have an old city, a fairly large downtown city area, and everything that goes with that.
Yeah, it is unfortunate. And just to be honest, I grew up in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, but we came to Spokane for everything, which was the major con. Spokane has everything to do, but I remember getting off some of the exits and be like, oh my gosh, like, there's homeless, all over. And it was just something. Now it's not everywhere. And people that come from large cities are like, this is nothing, right? So we want to be just brutally honest with you guys, like we have been in this channel forever, and let you know. But things have changed, and to see the downtown Spokane area really change, yes, there is some incredible living and some of the best like restaurants and things to do down there. So things are changing in that city, but you have to know Spokane is an older city, and you're going to see some homes in that area, especially kind of up where Mike lives, the South Hill, 100 plus, 150-year-old homes that were multi-generational family homes. Really, really pretty stuff. One thing, let's just go right into the things to do. I think it's a major pro. And again, I come from small towns, so we had to go to Spokane for everything. Airports, concerts, monster trucks, really everything. Let's talk about a few things you love to do in Spokane.
So Spokane is well located. It's in a little valley, so our weather is a little bit protected. I like to ride bikes. I'm a mountain biker, a street biker, a hiker. I have a dog. We're out all the time. We have a ton of parks here in Spokane, and so I like being outside. There are a lot of venues for entertainment. We have, as Jackson mentioned, an arena where we have a lot of name entertainers come to town, Broadway series. We have a very, very active symphony here in Spokane. So culturally, we're kind of the center of the Inland Northwest.
Yeah, and a couple things of note that are known, I don't know, nationally, and if you ask us small town people, they're like the biggest things ever, is Hoopfest, which I played in since I was a little kid, all the way up. You can play adults. In fact, there's groups where you can play with your wife, your kids, whatever. But you will see thousands and thousands of teams. They shut all of Spokane down. It's the biggest 3-on-3 tournament in the world. Even if you don't play basketball, you've got to go down during Hoopfest and watch it and see some of the venues. The other one is Bloomsday. It's only 7 miles, but people come from all around the world again to compete in this thing. So you get these people from like Kenya, whatever, come and finish the thing in a couple minutes. But we'll push some strollers, kids, whatever, and have fun. It's just there's some really big events that happen in Spokane every single year. One thing that we're going to talk about is, again, it's very middle point. It comes down to your perception on this. And comment down below if anything we've said so far is something you could handle or not. We'll be monitoring that. We want to see what your thoughts of Spokane are. But the cost of living, Mike, for a lot of people that are coming here, what's the median home price? $350-ish, somewhere in there. But for locals and the job markets and stuff, trying to keep up with that, it's getting spendy. So let's just kind of touch on where we're at, median home price, and then what it's really been, cost of living, and the rates you see.
Right. So generally over the area, we're in the mid 300,000s for Spokane. There are areas like Liberty Lake and the South Hill that rise up above that are a little more competitive, and certainly up north in the Meade, Colbert area. Mm-hmm. The cost of living has escalated, and it's created some challenges for the local folks who've lived here all their lives. I find that when people are coming in from out of the area, they're like pleased at what those costs are, but it is a challenge for some of the locals.
And then one thing that of note, the actual like health costs in Spokane are considerably lower than the national average. So that's one benefit, as the cost of living. And sometimes with small towns, you may have like a hospital or two. What do we have right here in Spokane?
So we've got multiple hospitals. We've got fabulous medical care, and I work with a lot of physicians, both incoming and those that lived here for years, and we're really proud of that. Mm-hmm. We have a heart institute here, a large one, largest in the Northwest, pediatric oncology. So because we are the hub and the medical care kingdom here for the Inland Northwest, we have a lot of options available.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's always been known, growing up, if you ever had anything major, always just fly over to Spokane, quick helicopter ride from Coeur d'Alene, whatever. But if you live in the Spokane area, those health costs are considerably lower than the national average, and you have probably some of the best care you'll find in the Northwest, as mentioned. So we'll keep moving along. One big pro, the state income tax. Why don't you just kind of talk on that a little bit?
So, because we're a Western state, we're the only state in the West Coast without a state income tax. And I have a lot of folks who are now working, they have their own businesses and they relocate here, and that's an appealing thing. When you talk about another 7 to 12% on top of what you're already paying in federal income tax, that can really come home to roost.
Yeah, and we get a lot of people asking, hey, well, can I just live in Washington, work in Idaho, those type of things? Can you benefit from that, or is that a falsity?
That's a little bit of a falsity. If you work in within a state, you're beholden to pay that tax. Yeah.
But that is a weighing option. So a lot of people, that state income tax can be a massive driver for them to choose Washington State over a bordering state. But yes, Spokane is no income tax, but you will pay higher sales taxes. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. Yeah.
The joke was always, in Coeur d'Alene, if you ever went over across and had to buy, chew or cigarettes or something, it was just like an $8 can compared to, because the tobacco taxes and stuff, but the sales tax in Washington will get you a little bit more.
Right, right.
I want to talk about another kind of, it's a con. It's a pro in a way that if you look at it, the rapid growth. What it's doing is, obviously it's infiltrating a lot of money, into educational systems and stuff. But let's talk about infrastructure, and let's just talk about overall, like the amount of houses available or not available.
Typically a balanced market, as we define it, is 6 months inventory, and we've got nowhere near that. We're down in the amount of days now, shorter than a month in many cases. And so that's a challenge, and it's hard for buyers to find homes, certainly a seller's market. Where it pertains to infrastructure, with a growing and an emerging market, and we've really come on the forefront of the national spectrum, it makes it tough because so many people are moving here, and the local politicians are having a difficult time getting the infrastructure to catch up with the amount of people that are coming into the area.
Yeah, and that goes all the way into the police departments, right? And the firefighters. I mean, a lot of the hospitals per se. This is stuff that is a growing concern for smaller cities, and Idaho sees it way, way, way harder than Spokane. Spokane's been more of a metro city compared to, Coeur d'Alene per se. But this is one of the hottest markets in the country. So droves of people are coming, and preparing yourself for that, right? This is what Mike's done for forever and helped, hundreds of people relocate and purchase homes. There's plans to this. There's ways to be ahead of the ball. You're not always going to lose out on these houses, correct? It's about forming a plan, really.
Absolutely.
So the last thing we'll really kind of touch on, or we got a few more, is the international airport. So that's a major pro. A lot of people move into Coeur d'Alene. And my whole life, we had to drive over to Spokane just to use the airport, but you have one. And it's right close to downtown. So basically anywhere you live in Spokane, you're going to be close there. Just head right out I-90. And the other thing is the education in Spokane, both primary and college. It's some of the top notch there is. Obviously, I'm a Gonzaga homer. We love those Bulldogs, but let's talk about a few of the colleges and the high schools.
Yes. So we have a great number of, Washington State University, University of Washington, and of course Gonzaga. Gonzaga basketball, too. By the way, Gonzaga basketball is a religion here, so we really take it seriously. But our universities, we've got a strong presence. We have a medical school now that's been added within the last decade or so, and so there's one in Seattle and one here. That's a big deal, so we train physicians. In terms of the primary education, we have probably 8 or 9 school districts in and around the Spokane area. All are rated pretty high as things go. And I have many people that move in from out of the area who may have had their children in a private type school in a larger metro area coming here with the same idea. And oftentimes I'll meet with them later or talk with them a year later, and they've got their kids in public school. And I caution everybody, do your due diligence and look into what we have, what your options are. But many of them find that the public school option here is pretty good.
Yeah, and competitively, I grew up playing sports my entire life. So the Spokane high schools, almost all of them, especially Meade, they had some very good sports programs. And then you get to funnel right into Eastern Washington, Washington State, Gonzaga, Whitworth. There's some amazing colleges. Lewis and Clark, baseball's not even too far. If you got baseball, that's one of the best. So there, for the sports, you're going to have plenty of opportunities for those kiddos there. So really good schools you'll want to do, due diligence. And those are things, when you reach out and you're like, hey, this is our lifestyle. This is what we want to be close to. And I've got, kiddos at these ages. we can now pull up the map with you and go through certain areas, what the lifestyle is there and what the schools are like, privately with you. So to finish things off, the big difference between Coeur d'Alene, Spokane, the state lines is, if we want to just really touch on this, hey, marijuana is legal. There is a little bit of a different political stance, separating the borders. What's kind of your take on that?
So Washington, if people think of Washington State, they think of it as being a little bit more of a liberal state, and certainly that exists here in Spokane. And like you mentioned, we've got marijuana is legal, gay marriage is legal here. So there are, it's a very progressive state. Mm-hmm. That's coupled with the fact, though, that when people move here, there's a very strong sense of family here. So no matter what your political leanings are, I think it fits for a lot of folks.
Yeah, and it's definitely not something that's going to be just forced upon you. You see all the time. It's more of just a city that's trying to grow and keep up. But yes, I mean, it's crazy, coming across the border all the time, and then you see all the marijuana shops right there. So it is a little bit different than Northern Idaho. Good or bad, you take that the way you want to. Those are the pros and cons of living here. And the hardest thing about moving to Spokane, to Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, is finding the spot that fits you, because you can really move to the wrong area and your lifestyle in the Northwest won't be as enjoyable. You got to kind of find that perfect spot for you, and that's what we help you with. When you reach out to us, we jump on the map, we help you decide those areas. But the only way we can help you is you got to reach out. You got to give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. Days, nights, weekends, we got your back with moving to Eastern Washington and North Idaho. Until the next video, guys, we'll catch you later.